Hi everyone, it's David France here. I'm going to do a very short video today. I say that every time, but it's never actually a short video. But anyway, you're going to get loads of value from this video. So I'm going to show you how to accelerate your property portfolio, whether you've got one or two properties now or you've got none. I'll show you how to grow it really quickly, how the professionals do it and how we're doing it, and how you can follow and copy what we do. Now I'll show you how most people do it and where they go wrong. So let's start off with a guy called, let's call this guy John. Okay, so John has some savings in the bank. Let's say he's got 30,000 in the bank. Okay, so John has savings of £30,000. Okay, and he wants to buy a property. Now he goes to his local estate agent, sees one on Rightmove, buys a property, gets told that he could get really good rental income on it, and it'll rent out really quickly. So he's done all his due diligence, he's viewed it. Now he goes ahead and buys it. Now he goes down the high street, goes to his local building society or bank, and they say, yes, we've got top 2 or 3 mortgage products you can choose from. Here you go ahead and buy it. So John decides he's buying it. He's paying 100,000, so purchase price for the property is £100,000. Be different, obviously, in your area maybe, but the fundamentals are all the same, regardless of the numbers. So let's just use 100,000 for this exercise. So he's buying it for 100,000. So what does he do next? So he has to put in a deposit. So the banks or the building society, in this case, have offered him their best product. So he has to put in a 25% deposit. So that means he has to put in £25,000. I hope you're following this okay. It's like I say, it's a nice simple example. So buying it for 100,000, puts a deposit in of 25,000. That is 25,000 deposit, and he gets the bank lend. So the bank put in £75,000. Okay, so he's buying it for 100. He's putting 25,000 of his 30,000 savings into this loan, and then the bank lend the remaining 75,000. So, and then the remaining 5,000 that's left gets swallowed up with fees. You've got legal fees, stamp duty, etc. And in this case, John's buying his own personal name as well. And John is actually a high rate taxpayer due to his job, which means, unfortunately, due to the tax changes, which you may or may not know of, which is called Section 24, he is actually a high rate taxpayer. So unfortunately, because he's got no good guidance or hasn't been trained properly, he just kind of has to take it on the chin and pays higher rate tax on his rental income, because under the usual, before Section 24 came in, you're actually able to offset the rental income against the interest part of your mortgage, because most of your mortgages are interest only, and in this case, this is also an interest only, IO for short, interest only mortgage product, because it means you get more cash flow, and that's what he's gone for. So in this case, interest only mortgage product, the bank have lent 75,000, put a deposit 25,000 in. He's used all his 30,000 up with all the fees and everything like that, and deposit, and because of Section 24, he's not able to offset the interest part of his mortgage anymore. So he has to pay tax on the full rental amount. And let's say he gets rent of £500 a month, and let's say his mortgage in this case would be around about £200, just for argument's sake. I've not put it through a mortgage calculator, but let's just say it's £200. So you got rent 500, mortgage 200, and some insurance of £20, for example, on average. And so he's got a bit of cash flow there, about £280 or so. And obviously there's some repairs, void periods, gas safety checks that you have to do on your property, is a legal requirement. So some of those things come off. So he's not going to be able to leave his job anytime soon. And he's going to feel frustrated because now he's swallowed up all his 30,000 of savings. So to enable him to buy another property, John now has to work harder than ever to replenish his savings to buy another property. Now let's take Jack. Okay, Jack has been educated properly in property, has access to all the power team of brokers, and is educated properly and knows the fast track route to build a property portfolio. So let's say Jack has some savings, and let's say Jack starts off, just for ease and comparison, like for like, let's say Jack has 30,000 also in savings. Okay, he also purchases a property, the same type of property, which is actually worth 100,000, but because Jack's been trained properly and he knows that you're making money when you buy, he actually secures a discount on this property. So you may or may not know that you can actually secure properties. It's quite common for people like us, property investors, secure discounts on a property. So anywhere from 20 to 50% discount. We've done deals at 20 to 50% discount. And as long as you work in the right type of sellers, you'll get a discount. So Jack purchases his property for £80,000. So he's managed to get 20,000 knocked off the purchase price, which is really good. And I'll show you why it's all relevant shortly. So deposit-wise, he has to pay a deposit as well. But this time, he pays a deposit based on the mortgage products that are available. And because of Section 24, Jack knows about Section 24 and he's been educated and he's set up an SPV, we call it, a special purpose vehicle. But all it is a fancy word for a limited company. And he's set that up. And we know a lender that can lend on them from day one. You don't have to have it proven history. But you do have to personally guarantee and stand behind the SPV. But I don't want to get too caught up in all the detail. But Jack's set up an SPV, a special purpose vehicle to buy this property, has tremendous tax benefits, which are legitimate ways around the Section 24 issue, and also asset protection is really good for, and ring fencing your assets. So in this case, Jack has to put a deposit in of £16,000 because he's managed to find borrowing, a lender that will lend up to 80% of the property's value. So in this case, he has to put in a 20% deposit. So his deposit is 16,000. So the bank then puts in, what's that, 64? I think it's 64,000. So the banks will put in 64,000. They'll lend 64,000. Okay, so you can already see the difference in the loans here, which means automatically you'll be able to see if he gets the same rental figures, Jack's going to be cash flowing more anyway because he's bought right, he's bought a discount from day one, and he's been able to make more cash flow because he's smart, because he's bought a discount from day one. Well, let me show you where it gets super sexy and how you can multiply these properties. Let me show you how you can do that. So again, it's an interest-only mortgage product. Again, for cash flow purposes, if you do repayment, your cash flow is going to be less. Okay, you're chipping away at the capital, but you can get these mortgages for up to 40 years now. That might sound scary, but again, that's a whole different conversation. We like to have flexibility. The longer you've got it for, the more flexibility you've got in terms of refinancing, etc., and manoeuvrability. If you take it over a shorter period, it's going to be paid off a lot quicker. So interest-only mortgage product. He's getting the same rent at 500. And the mortgage in this case, again, I don't have mortgage calculator or anything to hand, but you can see it's going to be less. So let's say it's 160, and then the insurance again is going to be about £20. So you can already see Jack is making more cash flow already. Now it's not much more, and it's certainly not life-changing. You're not going to be able to leave your job anytime sooner with this deal either. But this is where it gets even better, because if you're also trading these deals, well, which show you to do, because you'll come across 20 to 50% discounts, and you won't be able to buy them all. And we've got other strategies as well, such as lease options and things like that. I won't get caught up in those strategies now, but you can sell those on for fees to other investors like us for 3 to 5 grand, and that also enables you to leave your job much quicker if you choose to, or get chunks of cash in really quickly now, because these are more your long-term assets for capital appreciation and passive income as well. Okay, so Jack's also trading short term, so he's been able to leave his job a lot quicker as well. And he's also building his portfolio up by following this method. So let me show you what happens next. So basically you have to wait. The mortgage lender's handbook states you have to wait 6 months before you can, at the time of purchase, before you can refinance your property. There are ways to speed that up even quicker, but let's be cautious here and just say you're going to wait 6 months to refinance the property. So during the 6 months, Jack's decided he's going to spend a little bit of money on the property. He needs a bit of decorating, put a new kitchen in, doesn't cost much. Put a new kitchen in for what, 3 or 4 grand, something like that, in a £100,000 property, and or let's say it's 5 grand, something like that. And then the uplift in value in 6 months' time, you can go to the lender because he's already bought a discount day one anyway. He knows he's already got equity in it, but he wants to create even more equity. So he says to the valuer who comes out, he says, "I've spent X amount of money on it." Provides the schedule of work, says, "I've done this and this to it. Now I think it's worth." Let's say the new price is what, £110,000. So it's the new purchase price. So new purchase price, £110,000. So you think to yourself, great, okay, so it's got a valuation of 110. Now the banks now will lend again 80% of the property's value. So they'll lend 88,000. So the banks lend. So the bank lends 88,000. And the deposit wise obviously comes out of the deal, if this kind of makes sense. But let's do the deposit. 22,000 deposit. I'm working quickly here, so I apologise for some slight mistakes, but it's basically just to get you understanding of how it works. Trying to do a quick video as quick as I can. So new purchase price 110. The deposit is 22,000, and the bank put in 88,000. So what that means is you can now, the original loan was 64,000, so you can use the 88,000 to pay off the 64,000. Okay, so let's do the numbers. So 88,000, pay off 16 to take off the 64,000, and that means he's got 24,000 back from the bank. Okay, so does that make sense? So he's refinanced, got a valuation of 110, been super cautious, could be worth more, but let's say it's worth 110. The deposit is 22,000, and the bank now come in with a new loan of 88,000. Now the mortgage payment is going to go up slightly, and his cash flow is going to come down slightly on that deal. But what that means is he's paid off the original 64,000, and using the 88, and he's now got 24,000 back. So the banks paid back 24,000 after costs. So remember, he had a 16,000 deposit, and he'll have also had some legal fees. So let's say legal fees, stamp duty, etc. So let's say that was 5 grand. That means he's now got £3,000 of profit. So Jack, in this instance, has been paid by the banks. He's been paid for this deal. So he's got it. There's no money left in. So there's none of his money in the deal now. There's no money. He's exited the deal. He's safe. He's got all his money out. He's got no skin in the game anymore. He's responsible for the debt. Obviously, he's responsible for the new 88,000. But he's now got 3 grand back. Now imagine if that 110, we've been conservative there, if that was worth 120, which is quite justifiable in some areas, and depending what kind of work you've done as well, if that was, say, 120, he'd have a profit there of 13,000. So you'd have a free property, and you'd be given back 13 grand as well, and your initial deposit. So what that means then is you can go out and buy another property and do this process all over again. So that means you go from every 6 months you buy a property. So you've got today, and then 6 months' time you buy another property, and then another 6 months' time another property, and you get the general idea. And this is how you build up a big property portfolio every 6 months. Now again, this can be quite a slow way, you know, on that instance, it's 2 properties a year. So again, it's not going to set the world on fire. But again, remember, if you get these numbers correct and you go after some fairly big profit or you get a deeper discount, this profit number is going to go up. So the banks are paying you to take these deals. And don't forget, you're getting cash flow off all these properties. So all you need to do is work out how much money you need or how much passive income you want from your portfolio and get that amount of properties. Now, I said to you before, there is a fast-track route to getting this done even quicker. You don't have to wait the 6-month rule. We've actually got another finance procedure that allows us to speed this process up and mean that you can probably get up to 10 properties in a year, very, very quickly. And we've got certain ways of doing that. We're not going to go into this exercise because this is just showing you the 2 different types of people and how you can use the conventional methods that us sophisticated property investors use. And I say sophisticated investors, that's what, you know, terminology is for in the industry. For we're just using different finance methods. Whereas John, he has got to wait the long, painful time to get his 30 grand back before he can buy another property. And that's probably going to be if he's working an average job, and let's say he managed to save, you know, £1,000 a month, and most people aren't even going to be doing that. He might be able to buy another property in about a year or just over a year's time. So that's really scary if you think about it, and it's going to take him a long, long time to build a portfolio. So this is a fast track way, and like I said, we can go even beyond that and speed that up even quicker, using other people's money for deposits, and then we can use things like bridging finance and things like that. So we can do separate videos on that another time. But this, I hope this has explained things properly. Like I said, it's been a fast example, and I may have made some mistakes, but you get the general idea of how we use this new finance structure to build a property portfolio very quickly. So I hope this video has helped.